Good morning. So, Sunday run day, long run, race specific. So I've switched now. I've brought the distance right down. Obviously I hit just shy of 30 miles on my last road long run, starting here at the roundabout as per usual. But now switching to the race specific. So I brought the distance down. This should be somewhere between 10 and 15 miles, but it's almost all going to be trail once I sort of get over onto Clenton, Illy and all that. So get off the roads as quickly as possible. I'll get down onto Woodgate and then explain what's going to happen. Heading into Clint, just joining the path that will take me over to Illy. So race specific training, fairly straightforward. It just means training in conditions that you can get as closely to match the conditions of the race. I heard cows then. Cows don't like me. I'm not a big fan of cows. Bloody hell. Where there's one, there's normally more. You come to say hello. Is it a he? It is a he. I don't run when there's a field with cows, particularly the young ones. It's not like that. It's not like I'm going to trigger some sort of prey chase or anything like that. But the young ones think you want to play, and the amount of times that there's been sort of like a mini stampede because I've started running the cows, the little baby ones, the calves, have decided that they want to join in, and the last thing I want to do is be in the middle of several half-ton beasties that think it's time to go for a jog. Right, he's coming up now anyway behind us, so I'm going to move a bit quicker. A bit of a detour. Hello. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the big old Friesians. They tend to be the more aggressive ones that I found when I'm running. Although I think that might be because primarily the ones I bump into are milkers. These are all hormonal, doesn't it? I'm going to loop around the bottom of Clent and then hit that hill in the distance. I'm coming over the top of that, I think twice. Well, sort of twice. There's another one just to the side of it, which I'll be going to as well. So yeah, just hit lower Clent. Pretty much all farmland on the way here. Lots of cows, lots of fields, uneven ground, which just slow you down a little bit. But that's okay, that's what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Is that it? That skirts the edge of Offmoor, which I may have had to go through this to get to. While we just got to this point in the run where I'm about to have something to eat. Now, I'm not particularly hungry at the moment at all, but over the past 6-8 months, something like that, I've really been concerned about and therefore training around nutritional needs. So, quick recap. Arc 25, absolutely loved it. Know that I struggled towards the end because I wasn't fueling properly. I sort of relied on gels. I took loads of gels with me, but honestly, by the time you get to sort of like, I don't know, 2-3 hours in, and all you've been eating is gel, makes you want to vomit. So I was looking at different strategies for that. Oh, there's the path. Yeah, different strategies for fueling the long runs. Now, like most people, first thing I went for was things like jelly babies and all those sugary sweet stuff. What I found was I couldn't palate them. I'd start with say some jelly beans or some jelly babies or something like that, and it just felt clammy. And I honestly couldn't eat enough of them to fuel anything, let alone sort of like a 3 or 4 hour run. So I went back to the gels. But I was only using them sort of like towards the end of the run as well, so I wouldn't bother with anything, gel or otherwise. Oh, you can get in here. So yeah, Cherry Davis jelly beans, very, very clammy. Couldn't palate them, just couldn't eat them. Partly, I believe, it's because I was leaving it too late. I wasn't starting to eat until I started to feel tired. It's too late by then, isn't it? Yeah, at the very best, you're going to be feeling shit for half an hour until the calories kick in. At the worst, you can feel shit all the time. You're always going to be one stage behind. So fuel earlier, whether you think you need it or not. Now I know that I'll be bonking if I don't eat now around about the 8 mile mark, so now's about the right time for me to have something to eat. So onto the actual nutrition stuff then. So I'm not doing gels anymore. I do have gels with me, they are emergency only. I am going for proper food. And now I've already talked about the sugary side of things, can't do them. And then just on the off chance, I tried cheese strings. Really, really good when I'm running. I mean, that went down a treat. It was like 8 miles into a run. I thought, okay, let's see how I get on with this, and it was perfect. It slid down. So I thought, okay, maybe savoury is the way to go. So I started trying savoury options instead of sweet options, and they've been brilliant. So with me today as an example, and I'll have one in a minute, I have got cheese and pickle on a flatbread. That's it, just loads of pickle, loads of cheese on a flatbread. In fact, now I've mentioned it, I want it. Cheese and pickle, absolutely superb. One of my favourites for fueling while I'm running, and one of the first things I tried actually that wasn't full on savoury. This is a malt loaf with peanut butter. Quite a big one. I haven't cut it up into small pieces, but on race day they'll be bite sized. Just throw them in, swallow them whole if I need to. It does take some chewing, but I still find it more palatable than, say, a Snickers bar or something like that. I'm only a couple of miles further on from where I had the cheese and pickle, but this is the way the fueling strategy needs to work for me. So small amounts every couple of miles, and you're probably eating every 10 or 15 minutes. Most of my calories, the bulk of my calories on my runs actually comes from the homebrew energy drink. There's about somewhere between 300 and 400 calories in that bottle. So yeah, savoury snacks every mile or so, or not savoury snacks, just real food every mile or so. On my last long run, I didn't quite do that. What I did was I probably had snacks every 3 or 4 miles, and then I stopped halfway and actually had like a proper sort of sandwich type thing. It was still a roll. I'm not a big fan of slices of bread when I'm running, But in the roll like that, they're fine. But I also had things like cheese crackers. You know, sometimes you get crackers with the cheese in the middle. So I had those with me, cheese strings, everything really, really savoury. I did have some sweets with me, and I brought some out on this one as well. If I am going to have sweets, it'll be ones like this, sour ones. Again, I find them a little bit easier to palate, a little bit easier to eat than like just jelly babes or something like that. These aren't too bad, but I can't eat a lot of them, and they're there more just for just to give the palate a little bit of a cleanse, really. I'm quite happy eating dates while I'm running. I'm quite happy eating olives while I'm running. Any cheese, the saltier the better. Absolutely superb. They go down a treat when I'm running. So for me personally, I'm avoiding sweet stuff and the homebrew for fluids and salts, which haven't let me down at all yet. They've been great. And like I say, 30 miles last long run, totally fueled without using gels. And I haven't used gels now. I can't remember the last time I used it. I think the last time I used a gel was probably the Birmingham Half Marathon. So back in May. And since then, so off the back of that would have been when I started experimenting with different foods. Give it a go, try it. As for a strategy, like I say, small and often, mix up the flavours, mix up the tastes, just to stop your palate getting bored, really. Palate fatigue, that's the words I was looking for, to prevent that palate fatigue. Right, I think what I'm going to do is concentrate on the running for a bit, because this mile's going to take about 20 minutes so far. As the weather changes, some of these are going to get really, really rough. This bit that I'm on now becomes almost unpassable in the winter, just because of how slippery, and it's like clayey, horrible stuff. Right then, onto the Monarchs. I think I'm now on a path that avoids cows. It's a pain in the backside getting over from Clent to here. I'm not a big fan of cows. I don't trust them. I have been chased by cows. I've been charged by cows, so I don't trust them. I try and avoid them when I can. And if that means sort of like climbing over a fence and going into the field next door, I'll do that. So I just had to do that coming across there. That was painful. I've got to stop injuring myself on these ones. I was literally just about to say on camera, last time I came here, this path was closed. There was a sign at either end of it saying it was a dangerous path, but it's gone now, so it must be safe. I was all about to get my camera out. I ducked under a branch, didn't duck far enough, give myself such a clattering on the head. I can't see what's going on there, but I know it's bleeding. I'll have a look at that when I get home. I heard my neck crack as well as I hit the branch. Oh, that hurt. One of these days I'll go for a long run and not injure myself. Right, let's get over onto Lower Illy. Sun's come out, lovely. Right, coming towards the end of Sunday's run. Weather's gone beautiful, look at it. Yeah, coming towards the end of the run now. A few final thoughts really on nutrition, specifically fueling for these longer runs. And again, my experience, that's all. You may have different views, you may have a different experience, but that's what makes us individual, isn't it? So, the fuel itself, well, I've mentioned earlier, it's been a long time since I used gels, and they're there literally just as an emergency backup now, because they are easy to take, you know, and they do give you a quick hit of the energy, of the carbs that you need to fuel the runs. But since I've switched to real food, it's been a bit of an eye-opener really, because I was a bit concerned. It took me a while, don't get me wrong. I didn't just one day, you know, go for a run, pack a lunch and then scoff it down. I've been trying lots of different things. I've been getting my body used to sort of having food in it while I'm running. and then being able to digest that food. Bear in mind, you do need to keep your fluid intake up. It takes fluid to digest food, so you need to get that in there. And again, as I said earlier, experiment with different things. I personally have found that for me, savoury foods, so just deciding whether to go that way, but it looks like there's a tree down, and savoury foods seem to be much more palatable for me than the sugary sweetness that comes with like jelly babies and stuff like that. Having said that, this homebrew energy drink has been an absolute, I mean, that was a real eye-opener. That was. The cost is massively different. The taste is the same. I feel, and again, anecdotally, I feel that it seems to do a better job of helping me fuel. I mean, realistically on this run, which will be about 13 miles by the time I finished, I could have just had a bottle of that energy drink. I didn't need to take food with me, but I wanted to talk about nutrition. I wanted to talk about some of the things that I use when I'm running. And for you, I would just say, just try different things. You may find that, you know, that you're okay with several bags of Haribo and a Mars bar. I can't do that. It's just not for me. But cheese string, cheese and pickle sandwich, dates, olives, crackers, all of that kind of stuff, it really seems to work. And not once since I've been doing this have I hit the wall. So last time I hit the wall, that feeling where you just got no energy and you don't feel like you can go on. Don't get me wrong, you still ache, obviously, your muscles still hurt, they still get tired, but at no point have I thought that I've got to stop, that I can't carry on. Even now, 13 miles in, I'm quite happy to go for another 13 miles if I've got other stuff to do. And it's been taking me a while because I've been prattling around, talking on the camera and jumping over hedges to avoid cows and stuff like that. So it's taken me a lot longer than I wanted it to, but that's fine. I still feel relatively fresh in the legs. And I think that's because I'm eating real food rather than gels. And my energy drinks are more dialed into the way I like them. As for a strategy, a fueling strategy, again, you need to experiment what works for you. You might find it better to sort of hit a large portion of food a bit more regularly. I personally find that grazing is a nice way to go. That's why I've got the on pouch. That is literally just a nose bag. It'll just be full of little bites and bits, which I'll just keep shoving down my throat while I'm actually running. But hydration and fueling actually start before the race. So a couple of days before, start thinking about things like loading up on carbs, making sure that you're drinking plenty of fluids so you're fully hydrated, fully carved up, ready to race, and then work on your strategy. If you're looking at this because it's got Arc of Attrition in the title and you're planning on running it, now's the time. You need to start getting your race specific training in and your race specific fueling. Anyway, let's finish off this run. Back at my start point, Quinton roundabout. Feel okay as far as sort of like fitness and vitality concerned. I feel like I could do that again. Just this IT band's a bit tight, so I knock it on the head there. I don't want to push it too much. I took it nice and slow on this run anyway, so yeah. So 13.2 miles, an off-road half marathon. So yeah, that's sort of how I'm planning to fuel it. It's working so far. I'm having no stomach issues so far, and I'm still going to try some other things. So far on my menu, I've talked about the crackers, the cheese, mainly cheese, isn't it? Cheese and pickle, the malt loaf, slightly sweeter stuff like dates, nice salty olives, and I'll try a few other things as well. But one thing I do know, I'm sort of steering clear of the chocolates and the sweets and stuff like that. They don't work for me. Anyway, that is Sunday's long run done. Thank you for watching. I am trying to grow the channel, so if you've stumbled across this, do me a favour, give us a thumbs up, or a subscription would be even better. Thumbs up go a long way, comments go a long way, all helps the algorithm find the audience for you. Right then, I'll call this a day. Stay safe, have fun, and I will see you on the next run.